welcome to today's episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And we have the pleasure of being joined today by Sharoya Ham. Sharoya is a proud mother of three, a devoted wife, and she's a passionate behavior change specialist and a parent coach. Out of her own journey and desire to see families flourish, she created Embrace Behavior Change. It's a place where parents, teachers, and leaders find support, strategies, and encouragement to strengthen their relationships and bring peace back into their homes, classrooms, and workplace. So today, we'll step into her story, her expertise, and her heart for helping families, educators, and professionals thrive by embracing behavior change as a way of life.
Yay! Look, we're going to give you those when you have
I'll take all of it. Thank you.
Thank you. So we absolutely love teachers on this podcast. We love educators, anyone working with young people. And so you have to tell us, what is your why for creating Embrace Behavior Change?
Well, I have to tell you a quick story in order for everyone to understand how the passion came. I was a retired teacher, and so, but at a time in our lives where my family was living abroad, my son was identified as having ADHD, and I had no desire to homeschool, but I recognized the school there was small and didn't have the resources to really care for him. Mm-hmm. And so we did go ahead and homeschool him. But I asked the school, I said, can you, if you don't mind, allow him to come back and do testing in a few months when the standardized test showed up. And they did. They allowed him to come back. And that was only about 3 or 4 months after homeschooling him. Mm-hmm. And my son scored 3 times the projected score. So at that time, they kind of project what your child will score the next school year. Mm-hmm. And his score came in 3 times that number. And so my son comes out the testing and he goes, well, Mom, they said, they told me this, and my friend said, well, your mom must be a great teacher. And I said to him, listen, I know I'm a great teacher, but you have to tell me why this happened. It is not because I'm a great teacher. There's absolutely no way I could have changed things in 3 months. And he said, he looked at me, he goes, because my mom has a great student. I have actually done my job.
Yeah.
To get him to see himself as a learner.
Yes.
So in return, a family came to me and goes, because we lived in a small community, and they said, would you homeschool our child who's on the spectrum, autism spectrum? And I said, I've never done that, but I'll try. If you entrust me, I'll give it my best.
Right.
I noticed that the woman was really having challenges and getting him to be independent. Mm-hmm. Where on the other hand, in school, he was doing what he needed to do independently. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I try to give her pointers. Then I would ask her, did she actually implement the pointers? And she goes, no. And then I started to feel like, well, I'm giving you
wasting my time.
Yeah. And then the Lord just said, hold up a minute. Stop that judgment. Invite her into your home, sit down and talk. And that's what I did. What I realized was this woman had so much on her plate, trying to take care of a child who's neurodiverse with a teenager also who's got 50,000 other activities and a husband who has a lot of needs, so she had a lot on her plate. And so I recognized, I said, if you don't mind, I'd like to show you what you don't have to do for your son. So that then you get into the energy you need to do to build his level of skill so he can be more independent. And gradually you can still keep moving back as he moves forward in his independence. And to her credit, she said yes. I did not know what I was doing then, but
that was your first parent coaching gig.
That was my first parent. But what happened was, what sealed the deal was the husband came to pick up his son, and he goes, Sharoya, I don't know what you are doing with my wife, but you're changing my whole family.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I said, I'm not teaching kids anymore. Because I can teach a kid, I can build up their confidence in school. But if they go home and the parents don't quite know how to shape that independence or understand that they actually can do what they're trying to work on in math, whatever the case may be. And so now that's what I do. I help parents to change what they do at home, not because they're doing something wrong.
Right.
But I want to help them do whatever they're doing more efficiently.
Okay.
What does that look like? Can you break that down a little bit? Because people are like, what you mean you're going to teach me what I need to do at home? What does that mean? How does that play out?
Seems like it would depend upon the child. Sorry.
Definitely. It's very much child-based. And this is what I want every family to understand. You get to dictate the values which you live out, the process in which you discipline, all of that. When parents and families come to me, I am not selling you a package. I am a behaviorist, which simply means I follow the rules of the science of behavior. And there's only two ways to change behavior. You change the environment, or you change the consequences.
Right.
And so I'm teaching parents, which most parents live in the zone of consequences. But I teach parents how to say, what to do, and how to do it, and when to do it in the environment before the behavior occurs.
You know, because as a parent, I'm be transparent. There were days that I just didn't show up the way I needed to show up, because you're overwhelmed with everything that life throws at you. And for some reason, I know all of y'all received it, but my children's manual did not come on their toes. It didn't come with my kids, right? I got y'all manual, but my kids, it didn't work like that. So I was doing the best that I could. What advice do you have? Would I be a person that would suit right at that? Because even if my child isn't neurodivergent, I'm sure that there are tips and tools for all of us parents to create a loving space for our children.
You know, Kat, this is where my niche is. For the parents who go, I don't know what to do. My niche is not for the parents who go, I want to be the best parent I can be. There are courses for that, to step up your game. That's fine. But what I'm doing is I work with parents who go, this is not working. I have tried this, and this. I don't know what else to do. And so I take them in, and what we do is collect data. And I simply say, I find out what is the issue we need to pay attention to. Because, the parents was like, well, they don't eat well, they don't sleep well, they don't listen well, they don't. No. One behavior change at a time. And I says, which behavior zaps your energy? So, Kat, you coming to me, I'm going for the energy buster. Is it your child lies and you like, I can't stand this child? Oh, we need to start right there.
Right.
And we need to find out when, where, how, and who's around when this child is lying. Because there's a pattern to all of our behavior.
Yes. So what are some common struggles that parents bring to you?
Well, definitely in the realm of behavior at school where they're struggling, but most of it is educational, issue underlying that triggers the behavior. And so I work in that area of school refuse. I'm the co-author of a book titled Help, My Kid Won't Go to School. Yes.
Where that book at? You got one handy? Can you hold it up on the screen? We need to pull it up.
I will pull it up. I'll get it for you. If you could just 1 second, it's just around the corner.
You want to get out your chair, girl? I thought it was Look,
there we go.
That's right.
All right.
And so where can they find the book?
It's on Amazon.
No, that's good.
That's all right.
But
do you also sell it on your website?
No, just on
Just on
Amazon.
Amazon.
And,
Okay.
yeah, and Barnes and Nobles, all bookstores and libraries it's in. It has received honors for being the new best release on Amazon book. So yeah, and it's
Congratulations.
people
Wait,
are
that's not
using it.
past that. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Again, and schools are using it in 8 countries now
Oh,
to
praise
deal with
God.
this problem of chronic absenteeism.
So that's a huge issue, chronic absenteeism.
Yes.
And what do you think the root cause of that is? I know it's a myriad of things, but can you speak to that? And how does your book help?
Great question, Kat, because what people tend to look at are the signs, like the symptoms of it, but they don't deal with the actual root. There are, your kid might be refusing to go to school, so they're playing sick, right? They might be refusing to go to school and they're crying all the time and they're sad. So you're like, oh, it's depression, anxiety. And yes, so that's how it looks. But at the root of it, there are usually two roots. One, connection. The child is missing connection somewhere. It doesn't mean the parent. It may be between the parent and school, parent and their peers. And so this, builds the anxiety, and feeds the depression. Then we have the other one, our unidentified educational challenges, where families are not going to have their kids assessed. And so it is my job and actually a pleasure to help parents understand the value and the need of psychoeducational.
What are so my child diagnosed themselves as an adult. It went right over my head. And so what would be some key signs that we as parents can look for to even know that we should have our child go and get tested?
Well, see, a lot of times, especially when you're talking about emotional challenges, it's easy for the child to kind of live under the radar sometimes because, they know socially they're supposed to smile even when they're sad. So sometimes, like, depression doesn't really isn't, identified in its earlier stages. So parents, but I think parents really should listen to teachers and relatives. They don't have to acknowledge that what the relatives and teachers are saying is right. But if you hear a few people saying it, that's a good time to go to the doctors and say, I've been hearing people say this about my child. I don't see it.
Right.
That's okay to say. But you have that person to depend on to say, oh, the doctor probably will say, well, let's track it over time.
Okay.
And that's what's going to need to happen. But my message to parents is, if a teacher is saying that your child needs to be tested, it's okay if you're like, I don't want this to happen.
But still get the testing done.
But still get the testing done, or at least go to the school counselor, talk about the concerns. They should be able to give you more understanding and just see where your hiccup is and say, okay, Ms. Ham, let me go get his other teacher and see what they're experiencing.
And
go ahead.
So I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. In our community, there is a distrust of the school system, particularly when the school system doesn't look like us, and labeling Black and brown children as having special needs or whatever. And so because of that, there's a segment of our community that has been reluctant to get our children tested because we believe, oh, they just want to put our kids on medication. They want to put them, they get more money if our kids are in special ed. And so we have been reluctant to do testing because of that fear. And so what I would say to that is, if you don't trust the school testing your children, start with your pediatrician.
Mm.
Start
Good
with your
advice.
pediatrician. Go to your trusted healthcare practitioner, or your nurse practitioner, your doctor. Start there, and start that process of having your child assessed to see if they may be neurodivergent or learn differently.
100%, because they are aware of what's developmentally appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So they will be able to say, no, he doesn't fall within that norm, or just refer you to another doctor to say, okay, maybe we need to get his hearing checked, because sometimes it isn't a learning disability. It's our things
It's
like,
something
oh, you
physical.
just
Yeah.
need some eyeglasses, and no
Right.
one recognized that before.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or they
starting
may
there,
need tubes in their ears because they're not hearing properly. So just start that. If you're not in, if you're not feeling what the teachers are saying, don't discount it, but go get the assessment done elsewhere.
Correct.
and I think, I want to let parents understand too, is you really do have to pay attention and write things down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What are you noticing and what are you hearing? Just start jotting that down, because when you go to the doctors, you forget a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
A doctor who sees that you pull out a notepad and says, okay, this is what the teacher said, this is what I noticed, they are going to know that you are invested
Mm-hmm.
and that you're going to see this process through, and they're going to be more inclined to support you when they see that you have done that bit of work.
Yeah.
So I really want to just stress that, because that is the basis of my work. You have to collect data.
Have to.
It's not numbers, but when I'm saying I'm tracking, okay, you tell me that your child is having tantrums. Okay, we need to track this.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just tell me he's having tantrums.
Mm-hmm.
And what we find is, many times, if a child is having anxiety, I will have the parent, because especially with psychological issues like depression and anxiety, it's genetically based,
Oh.
and so usually a parent has anxiety or has depression if the child does. Yes, it is environmental factors,
Mm.
but it is also, hereditary. Like, just so I ask in my intake, which parent has anxiety, who has depression,
Mm-hmm.
and if the child, they're coming to me because the child has anxiety, I will have the parent who has anxiety track their anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, when the parents heighten anxiety, the child's anxiety is heightened. So
Wow.
making them aware, they're aware. And so even when there's two parents and that other parent is in the home and is aware, so then I help them to see, okay, your co-parent is struggling at that point. What can you do to
Mm-hmm.
bring
Mm.
that down? And then what does that do? It brings the child's down. So the family is a unit. I can't just work on your child.
Exactly. It's like if you got cancer, I can't just treat your headache, right?
Right.
If you got a
Right.
brain tumor, I can't just treat your headache. I got to treat everything. I got to treat the whole system.
Got to treat the whole system,
The whole system.
and you take the child out of the home environment. You give the child all the resources they need, but then you put them back in an environment where they're repeating, and now the child is confused, I think, because you're doing these things, and now you don't have a support system where it can be reinforced and it complements what you're learning and enhances it.
Kat, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No, Kat, go ahead.
I think you bring up a great point, because I am an advocate of having parents seek help before children.
Mm.
Mm.
I do not like when parents, I prefer that parents do not put their kids into counseling first. What does that say to the child? You have the problem and you need to get fixed.
Yeah.
Pat
You
and I
know,
have had this conversation before
girl.
because my day job is I'm a
Uh-huh.
child advocate attorney. And so often what we see, what I see, because I deal with children who are in foster care. And so we see parents who can't deal with behaviors of children across, the age spectrum, really. And but when we see them with their older children, they're like, I can't deal with them anymore. I can't handle them. And so they want to bring the kids, I say, as sacrificial lambs on the therapeutic altar, and like fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Fix them.
Right.
Not, this whole system ain't working. The family ain't working, but fix them. They're the problem. Okay, so now this 13-year-old is wilding out. This 13-year-old is aggressive, is having behaviors where they're fighting people, doing, maybe doing things outside in the community. What happened to the 13 years before they came into care? What was going on then?
Right.
And now you're expecting all of these other people to undo 13 years of learned behavior. So I see it all the time. It really is. They want to make these children the sacrificial lambs. Like, fix him, fix her. They're the problem.
Right. To add to that, and my health business, Journey Within, and when I work with young people, the parents will say, okay, they're eating all these snacks, and I'm talking about minors. They're eating all these snacks, and they just keep eating these chips and ho-hos and all this other stuff.
Who buying it?
I'm looking, I'm looking. Last time I checked, maybe your child, because mine didn't come with instructions. So maybe their children came with a credit card and they get the right to do whatever they want to do. Maybe, because my kids didn't have that. So I'm just trying to understand, but where do these young people get? And then you want the child not to get up and get out of bed and eat your ho-hos, but you won't stop eating them. What do you think is going to happen? It's not fair to the child when we have to model the behavior that we would like to see our children present. And like I said, I know I don't get it right. That's why I'm so glad we're having a conversation with you, so that you can give parents the support that we need, because we don't get it right. And it shows in our children as they repeat our bad behavior. And it's not intentional, because we all love our children. We all love our children. We all want our children to be successful, thriving, contributing people in society. Period.
But you can't fix what you don't acknowledge.
You can't change what you don't acknowledge, baby. You cannot.
I think you definitely are both head on, because what you're talking about, Karen, about these parents, what happened those 13 years, before, well, there's been no reflection. That's what happened. And then Kat, you're talking about these with, you're not modeling, but if you ask any parent, what do they want? They want the child to be healthy. They want them to have confidence. And this confidence is one of the number one things that parents tell me. And I find it so interesting that they want their child to have confidence, but when their children walk through the door, it's like, why are you wearing that? Go to the room. Soon as they walk in the door. And so we talk about that. What my job is to invite you into a space and say, here we are. Let's just dream. What do you want your child to look like at 35 as an adult? What do you want them to say about you? And when they can tap into that, and I have them journal, I get tears usually come, whether it's mom or dad, like, this is what I want for my child.
Yes.
And that's the guiding light. That becomes the compass.
Yeah.
And you want your child to be independent, take a lead, but really, do you need that bed to be like pristine? Are we gonna really focus
Choose your battles.
All of that right there?
Facts.
Or we gonna take him outside and invest in his exposure to the outdoors and what he can learn there?
Absolutely.
So it really does.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Giving parents an opportunity even when I go to workplaces and talk to companies there who have invested in their workers and said, hey, come on in and help our parents, because we know a healthy family impacts the work that we
Amen.
know.
Woo, girl.
Parents, adults are much more productive when their home is at peace.
That's right.
So I go into these spaces to help with that. And then in the school systems, you know, of course, they know a healthier home makes a better student. But more so, especially with the book, Help My Kids Won't Go to School, I work with counselors. My co-author and I work with school counselors, because the missing gap is when a parent is facing or sees their child is facing a problem, do they actually know how to partner with the school administration? And many do not. They know how to talk to them, but they don't know how to
partner.
So that's a
Make
good
this a
segue,
team
because
effort.
I want to ask you, sorry, Karen, how do you, if we wanted you in our schools, you know, how can we parents advocate? Who do we need to talk to? What principals? How do we get you in front of our school so we can have your assistance in that space?
Parents should definitely first reach out to their parent-teacher associations, and I can come and be a guest speaker there and talk about whatever issues that are important to that community. You know, there's several things we talk about. One, again, the dialogue between home and school, and helping parents understand that teachers cannot fix it all, and they do not need to carry that burden. So, you know, having a talk to help parents understand, here's what you can do at home, and not to just increase your burden either. But I stand in the gap between the two. Having been a teacher and been a mom, I'm telling all parents, there's no job harder than a teacher.
Amen.
It's not a mom. Mom is not the hardest job. It's teaching is the hardest job.
Yeah.
Because
so you do teacher coaching as well.
Not teacher coaching.
Okay.
But what happens in the Parent-Teacher Conference Association, the teachers are there. And I'm really just having everybody role play this cooperative, you know, and we're playing with it like a tired parent, how they coming in talking. And then we fix the language so that it's mutual on both sides.
Okay.
You know, and we're talking about, instead of a teacher having to say, why aren't you getting your child tested? I've told you several times. The teachers and the parents are both there as I'm explaining the importance. And then the teachers can let down their guards and go, yeah, she's explaining it. Now we want to say our say, you know, so it's like a meeting of the minds.
Okay.
And definitely with the counselors, we meet with counselors in districts to really help them set boundaries, because parents lean so much on the school and go, we don't know what to do with our kid. They just won't go to school. So we said here to counselors, help them walk through this book. But they don't have just open door policy, like just come into your office and tell you they want you to do something and you haven't taken step one. So the book allows counselors to say, hey, do pages 1 through 10 and then come back to me and let's talk about it.
Right.
And see where you get through. So that's what we need. We need that, collaboration between home and school. And we need to think out the box. We need it to change. Our society is changing. And but most of all, I'm an advocate of consequences. And many people take that as a negative. But indeed, consequences are just the end results to whatever happened before.
Right.
And so a lot of times I have to help parents understand there are encouraging consequences and deterrent consequences.
Yes.
And so many people are leaning on the deterrent and not enough of the encouraging consequences. So what am I saying? Your child got out of the room and, did everything or did some of the things, but it got out the door. Okay. Then when they come home, you're just going to have a little note on the bed. I saw you got out on time this morning.
Yes. Yes.
The conversation for how you can do it better comes later, but we need the encouraging consequence.
Yes.
Encouraging consequence.
Toni Morrison, go ahead, girl.
So Toni Morrison used to say, she would tell this story about how she was like sitting in her living room and her child came through the door. And as soon as he came through the door, she was like, she started, why are you wearing this? She started break, and she realized, and then she saw the look on her child's face, like their countenance just dropped. And she realized like the power of her language. So then she started, every time her child would come into the room, she would say, I'm just going to say his name is Miles. I don't know that's the name, but she would say, "Hello, Miles. I am so happy to see you."
Yeah.
And that made me change how I addressed my kids. They would come and they come downstairs. "Hi, Matthew. I'm so happy to see you." Right. And I would do that. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, she's too much."
She don't want it. You just do too much, Mama. You just do too much. As the kids say, you do too much. But I bet you now they feel some type of way. I bet you they pull them shoulders back and hold their head up. And then if you don't do it, they probably looking around like
what's wrong with you? Like, I'm coming to the room. What?
Right. Yeah. Like we always say on this show, the power of the tongue.
Yes.
The power of the tongue.
Yes.
And I, thank God for grandchildren. I always say you get a do-over because, like I said, mine ain't come with instructions, but my grandchildren do. But when I address young people, because we mentor, and when I see, and just today when I saw a young person, a young emerging adult, he's in his 20s, and I said, "Hey, leader," and he turned around. I say, "You know your name, huh?" And he's looking, and because people say, "Well, you got your pants down." Yeah, nobody's listening to that. No one's listening.
That's a tune off right there.
Correct. Oh, you young people don't know anything. No, meet them where they are. Give them compliments. Let them know. I always say you're needed. You're valued. I need you. Make sure you make good choices out there. I'm looking for you. I'm dependent on you. I'm counting on you. I met some young men going up Stone Mountain like that. A whole group of them. They stopped cussing, turned the music down and everything because they was showing me respect, when they saw me, because people want to be seen. So if we can do that with our own children, just imagine what they can accomplish.
An entire community.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like that, and treat young people like that. But Sharoya, what do you hope that parents and teachers and our learners take away from working with you?
Okay, I'm going to answer that in just a moment because while it's on my mind, Karen, it's funny you said Miles because Miles is my second son. He is 24. And then the story about walking in, I remember my son, and he had to be 26 at the time, my oldest. And him and my youngest son went away for a day and came back. And I was like, "Oh, babies, I missed you." And he was like, "I have never seen a person who misses her kids, whether they've gone a day or 5 hours." I said, "I didn't know." He was just like, "Mom, you just light up." So if what I want for people is who have not experienced that, to experience just lighting up.
Someone being excited.
Particularly the families who, and mamas and daddies, it's okay that you don't like your child. If I could just have you in my home.
Yes.
This is what I want to say to you. It's okay. Because we're going to get there. We're going to like these babies one step at a time, and we're going to start with us. We're going to find out what that irk is. What's taking you off? I can't stand that my child act this way. Okay, it's okay. We're going to find out why. We're going to do it. You just a few questions. And I'm reminded of one of my family that I work with. The mom, I could tell she was so irritated by her son.
Mm-hmm.
And no judgment. We just gonna do little things. And one of the things that what I gave her to do was just after school asking 3 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who helped you today? Um, what was the best part, like the funniest, part of your day? And
Mm-hmm.
are you hungry? Because one of the things was he would want to eat, and he would start screaming. So I said, again, changing the environment
Yes.
before the behavior occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not wait till he says he's hungry. Let's ask him when he arrives home.
Yes.
And let's
Yes.
tell him if he says he's not hungry right now, then he will have to wait till dinner. So that's
Mm-hmm.
all in the conversation when he first arrived. This family right now, that baby boy gets on the bed during the weekend with her and says, Mom, how's your day?
Oh,
How are
wow.
you feeling? What was your happiest time this weekend?
I know that's right. Connection.
Connection. And she
Mm.
sends me emails when she goes, I just enjoyed that moment. Does he still get on her nerves? Yes.
Right.
But I can tell in her emails when she's
Mm-hmm.
writing me, there's a delight.
Yes.
And that's what I want every parent to know. This is a limited time.
Mm.
And it's an incubator
Yeah.
for love.
Mm-hmm.
And if your child does not understand what love feels like, what it sounds like, even what it tastes like in your home, then every relationship thereafter
Mm.
will be somehow hindered because
Yes.
of that.
Mm.
And
Woo.
I'm delighted to be in the
Let,
position.
let, 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 let's
I
let's
know.
let that
Let
sink
that
in,
in.
because that's a word, sister. That's a word. If
Mm-hmm.
they don't feel that love in their home, it will permeate into every other relationship.
Yeah. That ties in what we just talked about last week with our other show about healthy relationships.
Yes.
Yeah, that is very t-shirt, gotta have it and repeat it. Make sure y'all listening to this, y'all play this part over and over again, because
Yeah.
those healthy relationships start at home.
Home. They start at home.
Yeah.
You a young girl learns how to receive love and what's healthy love by seeing healthy relationships in the home. A young man learns how to treat his partner by seeing healthy relationships in the home.
And how he should be loved too.
Yes. And so so
Yep.
they learn these relationships by observation
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
how they are treated. So that work is so important.
And
And
I'll
one,
say that for me, in the natural, it was about helping families. But
mm-hmm.
I am a Christian. And so I feel like, I had a little talk with the Lord.
Amen.
And he showed me a vision. And it was simply that people could not understand his love
Mm.
because of the family dynamics.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt he just said, if you would just push them toward me by showing them how to have the tangible love within a unit of a family, then I think people can open their hearts, whether, to their faith,
Yeah.
and understand the love that you need when no one else is around, because we all need a source to hold on to. And I try to help. This is what my ultimate goal is. I don't do Christian counseling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just love based. And the
Yes.
goal is that not just will your family function in love and your kids will have, good, healthy relationships, but that they will be able to know that they're loved in the spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for them to understand that, they've got to have a tangible earthly love.
Yes.
That's how
Yes.
God sends you the flesh before He sends you the spirit. Sometimes you listen better when God say, "You're not listening to my word, so I'm gonna have to send one of my children to you and show you, so you can be open to receive what God is about to put in you." Because
And we are
sometimes
all called to lead with love.
we are.
We are
That's
all called to lead with love. You don't need to beat anybody over the head with Bible verses and throwing the Bible at. Lead with love. Show people the Christ in you by how you treat them, how you speak to them, how you interact with others in the world. And when people see that in you, they're like, it's something about her.
That's right.
It's something about her that
Mhm.
I don't know what she has, but I like that lady. It's something about her.
Yep. It goes beyond the fly earrings you wearing.
But yeah, you lead with love, and that's one of the reasons why Kat and I have this podcast, is because we really believe that this is a part of our ministry.
Yeah.
We are both believers in Christ. We are followers in Christ. Like, if you watch any of our podcast episodes, we have no problem talking about our love for God, and that's God with the big G.
That's right. Okay.
And that we believe in the power of prayer. We believe in the power in the teachings of Christ and His life. And so we see this work as just an extension of that. And so this is why we want to get people's messages out,
Yes.
because the work that you're doing is life changing, right?
Yes.
And so working with families and changing their dynamics, working in the workplace and changing how people interact with each other. That's your ministry, sis.
That is.
That's
And
your ministry.
we're glad that you are obedient to God's calling on you. And I want to ask you two questions. One, how can people get in contact with you to get your services in their home, and organizations like you mentioned earlier? Can you speak to that and let people know how they can get in contact with you with that? Please.
Sure. I want to also just say that, I am an international parent coach because I've worked abroad for 17 years and done parent coaching across 5 continents.
Okay.
And I know the core values of parents are the same. We may parent a little bit different, but we're all trying to achieve the same thing. So in this diverse world, I'm able to communicate with all different backgrounds. And so I love to go to international churches, programs to do that for families who are struggling, trying to acclimate to the United States. When you live in the expat life, it can be quite challenging raising a children abroad. So that's one area that I love to do. Of course, going into churches and doing an 8-week program is really what's ideal to really help develop families, and then come back and do the next stint, because they need time to implement what is being taught. And then schools, I would love the opportunity to work with a charter school who can pretty much think more outside of the box, so much, and just put together a program for those kids who are just constantly having behavioral challenges. There must be a team effort. And I haven't had one family that hasn't seen a reduction in behavior in less than 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So tell me why we can't do this. Because we have so many, this has to be done, this has to be done. No, we just need to get together And this kid knows that they're not falling through the crack.
Yeah.
They can't tell this party one thing and another party another. So that is where I really would love to get my foot in the door here while I'm, newly back into the United States. And then foster care, of course, coming alongside those programs and helping those parents. Really, you got to have vision for that, because that's so long term.
And there's so many layers.
The immediate, changes. But and so, of course, then I said, like, the workplace. But I want parents to understand that I am an advocate that you must put in some money to parent coaching. Like, I've talked to pastors and I said to them, please don't pay the whole amount. I need for this to hurt.
They got to have some skin in the game.
You got to have some skin in the game. Because if you don't have skin in the game, you're not changing.
Right.
When I spent $50, I spent $150. I got to make this work.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. It's the motivation to invest in our kids, invest in our families. And I mean, I want parents to have the delight on their face when they see their kids. There's nothing better.
Joyful parenting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joyful parenting.
So the last question I would like to ask, sorry, Karen.
We didn't get her contact information.
Oh, yes. So Sharoya at embracebehaviorchange.com. That's where you want to go. If we are talking about international clients who are living here in the United States, you can contact me there, and then I'll send you to my international website for you to sign up there to reach out to me. But please do reach out, send an email, or go to embracebehaviorchange.com, my website, and read all about the services I provide, and let me know how you would like to partner.
Yeah. And for those who are listening and don't see the visual, Sharoya is spelled SHAROYA at embracebehaviorchange.com.
Yes.
And you can find her book, Help My Kid Won't Go to School, Finding Hope on a Bad Day, on Amazon.com and also on Barnes & Noble. And we will have the link when we post the episode. So again, Sharoya Ham, look for her book, Help My Kid Won't Go to School, Finding Hope on a Bad Day. Yeah.
Yes, love it. And so my last party question, we want to always shatter the shame, and we want people to talk about mental health. What, with all of the wonderful things you do and how you pour into everyone else, what do you do to make sure that you're serving from your saucer, as my girl saying, not your cup? What is your mental wellness practice?
Listen to me. And that might sound a little whatever it sounds. And that's probably what I'm trying to break, is what it sounds like to other people.
And stick to your truth.
Yeah.
What it means to me is what it means to me. And it's okay if I say it out in the open and people don't understand, still stick with what I think.
Stand in your truth.
Yeah, because I'm not like, I'm not standing in the truth of arrogance. That's what I'm saying. I'm standing in the truth that right now, this is where I am. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm sensing. And that has not been easy for me over, years. So this is what is helpful to my mental health right now, is to pause and say, are you willing to stand in that courage, in that space of courage, and just say, this is what I want to do. And that's, reminding myself that in God, there's freedom. And I am definitely in God, but there's times where I had convinced myself, like, I don't have the freedom to make a choice because that sounds too, self-centered, So again, that's what that is all based in, what I'm saying about trust myself, listen to myself.
Amen. I received that. That's good. Beautiful. I love it. You are on it, girl. As always, I'm so glad to see you, and I can't wait to read your book and get it in other folks' hands.
Yes.
And make sure that people get the help that they need with your services.
Yes. Kat, I want to say the last thing is with the book, I got to put out another one because Help My Kid Won't Go to School. People will go, my kid goes to school. But it's the language that you find in this book. It's the scripting, and that is what my specialty is. Helping parents know what to say,
find the language,
to do, when to say it, and how to do it. And so many times it's not what we say, of course, it's how we say it.
That's right.
When we say it. And so in this book, you get everybody who's read it goes, this book is not just for people who have, and that's because it's helping parents understand how you talk to kids and when you talk to them.
That's right.
You know, I meant to ask, what's the age range of the students that you work with?
So I work with all students, particularly because, again, I want that behavioral challenge, but I definitely prefer the 8 to 8+,
Okay.
But I will work with the young ones because preschools need it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kat,
you have any parting words?
Girl, no, I'm sitting here saying that should have been on my kid's foot. That's the tag I need. Help my kids won't go to school. That was the instructions. But no, I love it. Thank you so very much, girl. You just dropped so much knowledge that we're going to make sure that people know about you, schools, charter schools and whatnot, so that these resources can be in families' homes, because we need to strengthen our families. We have to, with everything going on in the news. We really need some powerful, fact-based solutions that work. And you're saying your stuff work in 90 days? Come on. And you have stats to back that up. So we need to see this everywhere.
Implemented. Absolutely. And if they can't get to you, they can always get the book and then get to you. Right. Find a way, make it happen. But thank you, sister, for being with us.
Thank you.
As always, we want to thank our listeners for joining us on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Well, we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.